And Mark Letty booked me on the Ed Sullivan Show, and I went up to New York, and I sat in a room with Bob Preck, the producer, Tim Kiley, the director, and I said, I need a couple of ladies like secretaries to show you what I'm going to do with this little bird that vanishes in a cage. And so they got a couple of secretaries. So here they are, just two of them in a room that are going to judge me, and I'll do my birdcage routine. But they laughed, and they said, "That's good. That'll be funny. You're on. That's great." Okay. Now next we have camera rehearsal, and next we have the dress rehearsal, and so on. Actually, the music rehearsal. So I was in about 3 rehearsals. And I vanish, and I do the gags and everything, and the band is looking, and they laugh, and you know. But now, after the 3rd rehearsal, they've seen it. Now comes dress rehearsal. They're busy doing their work and everything, the director, and there was nobody else that's going to be surprised or laugh. Okay, but we had a huge, packed audience in the afternoon at dress rehearsal, and they came back. First, they started telling me that line you use about your little finger used to be your big finger, and they started cutting lines. That's not funny. That's not funny. And I'm thinking, well, that's part of the act. Those lines are in there because they're funny, you know. But if you're trying to just cut my time, okay. And now don't put one in that we tell you to cut. And pretty soon I'm frazzled. I can't remember 5 lines they said to cut, but so I just was going to work a little faster and say what I wanted to say. Okay, so now it's dress rehearsal, and the band is going to play and everything. This is the final thing before that night when they taped the show. Actually, they ran it live, you know. And, you know, millions of people are going to see this now. I just can't wait. But at the dress rehearsal, there's a line of teenage girls all the way around the block, and then they let them all in. The whole audience is made up of teenage girls. And they came to see the Dave Clark 5. I figured they're going to be a good audience. They're teenage girls. They'll like me. And a man comes out and says, okay, listen up. We've got 15 ushers watching everybody. You can make all the noise you want. Once Mr. Sullivan says, here is the Dave Clark 5. Yay, cheer and holler and scream. You don't even have to listen to the music, make all the noise you want. But the second that Mr. Sullivan comes out and says, and that's the Dave Clark 5, and they will go off, you hold your lips, you don't make a sound. The rest of the show, anybody that gets out loud and makes any noise, we've got the ushers, we'll get your name and your friends' names, and we'll take you out right then, and you just don't forget that. And I'm thinking, gosh, what a terrible thing to say to the audience that I've got to try to make laugh in a minute. So at any rate, Alec Guinness, the great actor from England, comes on and does a reading. Stone cold silence, you know. Tessie O'Shea, a wonderful body lady, cabaret artist from England, the top gal over there. She comes and sings up a storm, and the band's playing everything. At the end, no applause, no reaction, because it's like a dead audience. They didn't want to be thrown out. And a comedian comes on, no laughs. And I come on, and I'm still waiting for the first laugh. I did the act and went through it, but nobody's responding, no noise. And I said, oh boy, thank goodness tonight is going to be a regular family audience, mostly adults, you know, and everything. So after the dress rehearsal, then they bring out a tall stool, and Ed Sullivan sits on it, and a medium-sized stool, the producer Bob Preck sits on it, and a little lower stool, Tim Kiley, the director, sits on it. And they were great guys, but it's like God, Jesus, and Moses, you know. And so Sullivan says, the 3 comedians and that magician, cut them. They're not funny. Didn't get a laugh. And I'm thinking, he's so savvy. He must know. Does he not know that they prime the audience not to laugh, not to make any noise? I don't know. But then Mark Letty comes over, and he was so angry. He said, they cut the 3 comedians and you. And they just, sometimes they don't know what they're doing. And it happens every week to my acts. And he really wanted to stand by the acts, but nothing he could do except, yes, Mr. Sullivan. So he had to tell me that. So I went back home, called my wife, Joyce, and the girls all heard I wasn't going to be on, because I had so many friends over the United States, so many Chambers of Commerce banquets. I'd sent out 1,000 postcards saying I will appear on this thing, and I just appeared at their Chamber of Commerce banquet a week before maybe, and I didn't get on.